Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative. Prophetic and practical.
Intellectual stew.
Informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland. Intellectual stew.
Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. All right, we're there now. Hey, if you can hear me, say what's up, say how you doing, say something, and let me know that you are listening live. Let me turn this music off, or at least turn it down. If it plays in the background, that's okay with me. But what's up? What it do? Time for another episode of the Intellectual Stew with yours truly, James Kirkland, and we're getting ready to get this show started. What's up? What's up? If you're listening now, do me a favor, go ahead and share this thread, and let's get this show started. Listen, I'm gonna do something different tonight. Y'all gonna be the panel. If we're talking, because I'm gonna talk about a couple of different subjects tonight, and if one of the subjects kind of hits home with you, send me an inbox. And come on here and be respectful. You know, don't come on here and start no mess, because y'all know how I am. What's up, Kamira? What's up, Anthony? What's up? Hey, Nadlin, how are you? I hadn't seen you in quite a while. But listen, I want y'all to be my panel tonight. I got several different subjects that we're going to probably hit within the next 30 minutes, hour, however long it takes. When I get through, or when we get through, then I will hang up. I'll get off the air tonight. But it's gonna be us, if you don't mind. Me, you, and a Stew Nation, as we call it. I appreciate all of you all for all that you do. Y'all that have been following me. Let me turn this music off, because I can that's my little music. Did y'all hear that key change? That sound like they played it in two different keys. I gotta talk to my musician about that, because I don't like how that sounded. I gotta do something about that. But I got 3 or 4 good subjects, you all. And if y'all help me, let me get this picture. All right, boom. So I got 3 or 4 really good subjects, and we're going to do this by ourselves tonight. If y'all help me, I promise you we can get through this. Share this with somebody. Like I said, Anthony, if I'm talking about something that you like, you want to jump in tonight. Kamira, I know you always got something good to say, because we have the best conversations on the phone. I appreciate all of you all. You all have really been supporting me for these last 2 years, and I appreciate that. I do. But let me start off first of all. Let me get the show started like this. Hold on. Let me get so I can get the reminder. Boom. I always remember when we're on the show, we're on the path to better. We want to be better all the time. So y'all see at the bottom, it says on the path to better. So I want to put this up first of all. Let me find her, because I want to congratulate this young lady. If y'all will help me. Look at here. Boom. That's Sha'Carri Richardson, world champion 100-meter dash runner. She won the 100-meter dash at the Budapest, Hungary, the World Championships today in Budapest, Hungary, 10.65. She won her first heat, didn't really perform as well in her second heat, and they were concerned. She only made it in by her time. So she had the outside lane. So she was running against the Jamaicans, and we all know the Sha'Carri Richardson story. A few years ago, what's up, Bishop Simpson? A few years ago, she did not get a chance to go to the Tokyo Olympics because her grandmother passed away, and when they checked her urine, she had marijuana in her urine. And because she had marijuana in her urine, of course, she did not pass the doping, And therefore they suspended her for 30 days. And when they suspended her for 30 days, I think she lost her training, whatever, and she got blew out against the Jamaicans. And they were trying to, the whole world turned their back on her. I mean, everybody was saying she was immature. They were saying all kind of negative things about her, but at the end of the day, she was still a 21, 22-year-old young lady growing up in this society, right? Growing up in this society, and she was doing what 22, 23-year-olds do. But she's a gifted world-class athlete. I mean, she could run really, really fast. I mean, running paid her way through college and got her on the international scene. Has gotten her all kinds of endorsements. And anybody that's that type of athlete, the pinnacle of your success is what? Making it to the Olympics. All right, Kim, is making it to the Olympics. That's the pinnacle of your success, and that was taken away from her because she smoked marijuana. Now it's interesting because now, as you look at it, more and more states are starting to legalize it. I mean, they're using it for medicinal purposes, all kinds of things. I mean, I think the biggest thing they're trying to figure out now is how to tax it between states, or federally, and all these types of things. But either way, she made a mistake. Young lady made, mistake, choice, whatever you want to call it. She made that, okay? And with making that, I'm just not the type of person that likes to shoot the wounded. Does that make sense? I'm just not the type of person. I was married for 20 years, and one of the biggest lessons I got out of the marriage was something that she told me one day when I was a young minister, trying to make it on the scene and getting known, trying to hang around different people and all those types of things, and trying to get in certain rooms. Y'all know how it goes. But I remember one thing she told me. She said, "James, don't let folk use you as a garbage can." Let me let that marinate for a moment. She said, "Don't let people use you for a garbage can." Because for whatever reason, Nadlin, whatever reason, Anthony, whatever reason, we love to carry mess. I think in history, I remember in history classes, I notice I said history. In history classes, historically, they were called the muck rakers. And what muck rakers are is they rake muck. They carry muck. That's what they carry. They carry muck, and they like to carry mess. And carrying mess, that's what our society does. We like to carry negative things. They like to carry these negative things, and then what that does, and then what happens is that it perpetually snowballs and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, all because we love to carry this mess. But you should never let people use you as a garbage can. Only people I knew, or only things or animals I knew that hung around slop were hogs. Because I did grow up in the country, and I did have the chore, I ain't gonna say the privilege, the chore of slopping the hogs. And hogs ate everything that you brought to them. But we as human beings, we as practical beings that are able to decipher right from wrong, or should be able to decipher right from wrong. Maybe I'm giving us too much credit. But we shouldn't let people use us as a garbage can. We shouldn't be carrying these negative messages, because all it does is just fuel mess. And have you ever raked up mess? I mean, anybody that has a yard, has a front yard or a backyard. If you have a yard, and you want your grass to grow, right? And you put a whole lot of manure over the grass so that the grass can grow. What does your yard smell like? I'll wait. Somebody give me the answer. Somebody give me the answer in the chat. I'll wait. What if you put a whole lot of manure, you put a whole lot of mess, you put a whole lot of shit on your yard? If you spread it, I got a new visitor in the house now. Come here, Chloe. Come here, Chloe Bear. I got a new visitor in the house. Let me show y'all. Come here all the way. Come here. I got a new little visitor. Not that way, girl. Why you coming? All right, so I got this new visitor, right? She moved in. This is my girl right here, right? So when my daughter moved in a couple of weeks ago, I got her by default. I got Chloe by default, right? Because whatever reason, that ain't none of y'all business. But anyway, I got my daughter and I got my dog now. So she was coming into a new home, right? In a new home, a new environment. She's 10 years old, 11 years old, whatever 9 years old, whatever she is. And so she's trained. She really is. But when she walked in, first thing she did was use the bathroom. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to get rid of her at that moment. Somebody could have had her, I promise. But that was the first thing she did. And let me let you down now, girl, because I gotta go, I gotta work. All right. So when she came in, first thing she did was she used the bathroom. Now, when I picked it up, I used the napkin, and it was a little wet. I ain't gonna lie, Natalie. It was a little wet. It was a little wet. It was a little wet. So I had to be very meticulous how I picked it up with the napkin, because I didn't want to spread it, because if I spread it, it would get in the carpet and then it would stink even more, right? So I got as much as I could up. Then I got some Dawn dish detergent and some baking soda and some water, and I put it on the ground, and I dabbed it up, and I got it all up, and there was no smell, any of those types of things. But what would have happened if I would have spread it in the carpet? And that's what happens when we take these negative narratives, and run with these negative narratives. Don't let people use you as a garbage can. Now, y'all know me. Y'all know one thing I'm trying to do. If you know me, because I'm trying to pride myself on this. One thing that I'm really trying to do with this whole platform, with this whole show, is I'm trying to promote healthy communities. I want healthy relationships. I want healthy marriages. I want healthy, I want interpersonal relationships, business relationships. I want to see us all healthy, right? But for whatever reason, and Paul helps me with that, because let me put this up right quick. Y'all know I'm a preacher by calling, so I got to show you this. Romans 12:18 says, "If it be possible, as much as lieth within you, live peaceably with all men." So that's what we should do. We should aspire to live peaceably with all men. Now, last week, this meme, I saw it myself. I'm gonna put it up right now. This meme was put up about Keke Palmer. Read it. It says, Keke Palmer's baby's father goes for the bag. Full custody of son, child support, and her house. Look at it again. Look, and this time I want you to look at it. Keke Palmer's baby's father goes for the bag, full custody of son, child support, and her house. Now, remember what I just told you a minute ago. I said, as much as possible, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably among all men. Now, this is what I want you to know. When I saw that post, there was a caption on the post, and the man said, "This is false information, but I want to see how quick y'all will run with a negative narrative, how quick you'll run with a negative narrative and start spreading false information." That's what the post said. I read it. And when I read it, I shared it in my group. If you're not a part of our group, Stu Nation, y'all, please be a part of that. We have some good conversations in there. But I purposely shared it with the caption that said it was false information, and that the man basically said, I just want to see if you all are going to run with this negative information. I want to see how fast y'all take negative information and run with it. And so when I put it in the group, first thing somebody said was, "Oh, Lord, what happened now?" And then after somebody said, "Oh, Lord, what happened now?" then somebody, y'all talk back to me for a minute for real, though, because y'all saw this too. Then as soon as after somebody said, "What happened now?" then somebody started explaining what happened. Y'all remember, she went to the concert, and when she went to the concert and she started dancing on Usher, then he got mad at her. But how he gonna get mad at her and want to take her house? All she was doing was out having a good time. So watch this. Now this whole story begins to snowball. And it was a story that's snowballing off of bad information. The first thing that stood out to me, because I'm asking this question, and if some of y'all will help me, I really would appreciate it. That's the question I'm asking y'all right now. Why do we run with negative narratives? Now I'm gonna put this meme back up, Erlanza. I know. I remember. She said, "I don't know what had happened. Nothing had happened." And if you'd have read look, if you would have read, Erlanza, if you would have read the caption, you would have knew nothing happened because he told you that he was just spreading misinformation. And all I was doing to try to see if people read, because you know what Willie Lynch said. Willie Lynch said, if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. That's what they say. If you want to hide something from a black, and that's not what the word they use. They use the N word. But if you if you want to hide something from a black person, then put it in a book. That's um so this is what I'm thinking. So this is the question I want to ask you all before we get started. You know, I can't jump back and forth because I don't have a panel, so I can't read my text messages and stuff. So I'm sorry if I'm not getting there fast enough. I apologize. But let me try to put the caption clearly said it was false, Kamira. It clearly said it was false. But if you want to hide something from I'm sorry. If you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. I'm gonna try something right here. I'm gonna copy this link, and I'm gonna put it in the chat. If anybody wants to comment, if you can click on that link, do so. If you can't, like I said, inbox me, and I'll let you in, and we can talk about this. But that's the question. That's the question on the floor, Stu Nation. I want to know, what is it that makes us want to run with negative narrative? Anthony McCreary said, we as a society no longer care about the facts. We want to be entertained. Okay, I feel you on that, Anthony, and I ride with that to an extent. But you said no longer. When did we ever? But see, because the thing is now it's magnified because all of us have social media. Anybody else can press any of us can press the send button now. But back then, the media controlled all of that, right? So they controlled every narrative that went out there. When the news, whether it was the war, whether it was Jim Crow, whatever narrative they wanted to promote, they could promote it because they controlled it. Now, we got a certain form of media that we can control with ourselves. So, and the thing is, we would rather promote a negative narrative than promoting a child that got a perfect score on the SAT. How? Or we would rather promote a negative narrative than promote a child that graduated from college. Okay, there we go. Let's see it, Kim. Kim says society wants to project the negative thoughts on any subject so that they feel like they can relate to. Oh, I like that. Something they can relate to. And you know what else, Kim? Can I put a caveat on that? Can I put an amendment on it? I think we also like when we can make somebody else look bad because it makes us feel better. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think sometimes y'all help me if I'm wrong. Sometimes we want to put somebody else in a negative light, because if we're able to put them in a negative light, then I can feel a little bit better about myself. What you say, Erlands? I missed it. I did read those, sir. I wanted to know what information he was spreading that wasn't true. No, the whole post wasn't true. In fact, let's consider the clues. Let's consider the clues, because most of us are educated. Real talk. Most of us are educated. First thing that threw me off. Oh, let me take that comment off. Hold on, y'all. I'm doing this by myself. I'm doing it by myself. Let me take it off. All right. So this is the point I want to say right here. Here we go. Read it. Kiki Palm. The thing that the post instantly lost credibility with me. The way I saw it said, the way babies is spread it, misspelled. BABY, no apostrophe S. That ain't how, but so when I start reading stuff that's misspelled and all that kind of stuff, then I start to assume that it's clickbait. And then at that point, I want to do a little more research. And if I can't find any more research that backs it up, then I'm pretty much done with it, right? Dude messed up when you said, okay, yeah. I'm highlighting that comment, Kill. Kill said, I cannot take anyone serious who can't spell. And I know a lot of people misspell words on purpose. That's how media works. I get all that. So, but my thing is that we love to run. That's my point. We love to run with the negative narrative. What we love to run with the negative narrative. And Erlanza, I'm being facetious, so please don't take me serious when I start saying stuff like this. But you read, but most people don't read. And that's the thing. And it's just a little small caption. And I got a lot of friends, like I'm be honest, I got a lot of friends that I support. If I just see a picture, I might not read the caption, but I'm just gonna like it. But I'm not gonna comment on it because I don't know what's going on. Because I know my like helps the algorithm. I know my like adds to the rest of your likes. So therefore, if I'm a supporter, if I see you just posted a picture, you posted a meme, if I'm one of your peeps like that, I'm just gonna like it. But if it's a long paragraph and somebody took the time to write it, if I have time, I'm gonna take time to read it and understand it. And if I do understand it, I might comment on it. If I don't understand it, I'm not gonna comment on it. But a lot of people, Orlando, I promise, I do know you read, because I know who invited you, so I'm sure y'all are very analytical. So I appreciate you for being a part of the group. I really do. But I was really doing that as a social experiment in that moment, because I wanted to see how many people really do read. Really do read. But listen, let's move on. That's the first story. But I got a couple of things, like I said, I wanted to talk about tonight. Now, this is the second thing that I wanted to talk about here. Let me I'm gonna play a quick video for y'all. Switching lanes. Here we go. Y'all stick around. Give me about a minute and a half to watch this video.
A new report from the Texas Tribune tells the story of a prison guard suing the state after she was forced to work while having labor pains, leading to a stillbirth. And the state is arguing her fetus didn't clearly have rights. Jolie McCullough, the reporter who broke the story, spoke with KVU's managing editor of political content, Ashley Godot.
Your latest report is pretty alarming. Tell us what happened with this prison guard.
Right. So this was about a year and a half ago. In November of 2021, a 7-month pregnant prison officer was working her shift in Abilene, and she felt pains that she thought were contractions, and she quickly alerted her supervisor, saying she needed to get to the hospital. According to a lawsuit she's filed, she said she was told she was made to wait 2.5 hours before she was allowed to leave. Her supervisor telling her, not believing that she was in labor or any kind, basically saying she just wanted to go home. When she was finally able to leave, she went to the hospital, and doctors, unable to find a fetal heartbeat, rushed her to emergency surgery, and her baby was delivered stillborn.
One of the things that I think really stands out in this report, besides obviously this really heart-wrenching story of a family losing their baby, is the response from the AG's office. Tell us about that.
Right. So this lawsuit was first filed last October, and as the state has moved forward, the state of Texas, the Attorney General's office, and the Texas Department of Criminal Justice are seeking to have this lawsuit tossed. And the part of the reason that they're arguing this is because they're saying, this woman's fetus, the 7-month-old fetus, does not clearly qualify as a person with rights. Which is very stark shift in tone from what is usually the Attorney General's office as one that is known for and self-proclaimed as one of a leader in defending the unborn across the nation.
Yeah. That's ironic. So let me, for those that didn't catch all that, let me catch you up. This is Salia Issa versus the state of Texas. The state of Texas is questioning the legal rights of an unborn child and arguing. And y'all talk to me, and I really would like a woman to come on here and talk about this with me. If there's one that would send me an inbox that wants to come on for a few minutes and discuss this, let's talk about it. But it says the state of Texas is questioning the legal rights of an unborn child and arguing against a lawsuit brought by a prison guard who says she had a stillborn baby because prison officials refused to let her leave work for more than 2 hours after she began feeling intense pains, similar to contractions. The argument from the Texas Attorney General's office appears to be in tension with positions it has previously taken in defending abortion restrictions, contending all the way up to the Supreme Court that unborn children should be recognized as people with legal rights. It also contrasts statements by Texas's Republican governor, including Republican leaders, including Governor Greg Abbott, who has touted the state's abortion ban as protecting, watch this now, as protecting every unborn child with a heartbeat. The state Attorney General's office did not immediately respond to questions about its argument in a court filing that an unborn child might not have or may not have rights under the U.S. Constitution. In March, lawyers for the state argued that the guard's suit conflates how a fetus is treated under state law and the Constitution. So, Salia Issa was working at a prison in the state of Texas. She was 7 months pregnant. While she was on her shift, she started feeling intense labor pains. You know, we know how Braxton Hicks and all those, we know sometimes you can have false labor. You understand all those things, but you can't play with that because it's a very sensitive time for the mother and it's a sensitive time for the baby. Well, anyway, the people, the superiors, the powers that be at the prison, her superiors, they did not want to let her go, or they didn't let her go. And because they didn't let her go, she eventually, when they did let her go, she went to the hospital. And when she got to the hospital, they rushed her into emergency surgery. And when they rushed her into the emergency surgery, the baby was stillborn. And the people at the hospital said, I'm reading right here, they said that the hospital staff told her they could have saved the baby had she arrived sooner. She was 7 months pregnant in 2021 when this happened. And the baby, so now the state, as she's trying to sue the state, this Republican-led government is saying that the baby is not a person because it was only 7 months old. Now, I've had a few babies now, and when we went to the hospital for the ultrasound, the thing they checked for was the heartbeat. That when they put the gel on the stomach and they put the little sonogram on her, and they were checking for the heartbeat. So if they're saying it's a heartbeat, so now because it's money involved and they don't want to pay out a lawsuit or they don't want to claim responsibility for something that a mistake they made, now they've changed their whole argument because they overturned Roe versus Wade, all these types of things, right? But now that it's convenient, they don't want to give this woman her money. Y'all talk to me. How does that work? What you say, Jarvis? Let me see what Jarvis said. Jarvis said, how backwards is this? With abortion rights are practically gone, how is this possible? Not to make this racial, what race was the woman? Well, her name, I think her last name is Issa, so I think she's, I want to say she's Latino, and it's in West Texas. I know they have a high level of Latino population out that way. So I'm thinking she, yeah, that I'm thinking that she was Latino, but yeah, and you know what, you say you don't want to make it race, but everything's race at some point, bro. I mean, if there's an inequity, I mean, there's always, the inequities always have a way of revealing themselves, and then when they reveal themselves, typically those that are of color end up being the casualties, and when we're the casualties, a lot of times we end up dead. And when we end up dead, I don't understand it because all somebody ends up saying is oops. And you can't say oops and get a life back. I mean, a scared police officer that's holding a gun and that's afraid and his hand's shaking when he's holding the trigger and the trigger accidentally goes off and somebody dies, you can't say oops. And because this young lady who was 7 months pregnant, okay, I think y'all women, ladies, help me out. At how many weeks can you deliver without going full term? I know 40 weeks is full term, but at what point can you deliver and the baby still be relatively healthy? It's at least around the 7th month. And if y'all haven't liked or shared this post, y'all do it, please. Do it, please. Like it, share it. Do me a favor. If you like, just like it, share it. But some lady, I don't remember all of the, I wasn't very good in my sciences. I was better in maths. But for me, how long can a woman, 20, is it 27 weeks? How many weeks is it that the baby can be born healthy? So if she's at 7 months, then I know the baby had to have some size on it. You know, it was at a point where it was really starting to develop, right? And then all of a sudden, because some people want to politicize this, first of all, it's the supervisor. Now I don't know. Let me be fair, because I don't know the processes as it relates to what happens if someone's in prison or working at a prison and they have to change shifts relatively quickly. Does somebody have to come and cover for them? Is there a ratio of prisoners to staff? You know, all those things. You know, some could even question why she was even working. You gave birth at 24. Okay. Thank you, Jacqueline. Hey, man, God bless you. Hey, man, Jacqueline said she gave birth at 24 weeks and she's 25 years old. Okay. And no complications or anything. Well, obviously not. She's 25 years old. So because I know that they want the baby to get as far along as its term so they can develop as many of its organs and things of that nature as they can. But at 7 months, so seven months, that's at least 28 weeks, because some months have 5 weeks. So let's just assume she's at 30 weeks. So if she's at 30 weeks and she's telling her supervisor that I'm having complications, and like I said, I don't know what type of employee she was. Maybe she was doing this all the time. But I'm not going to, if I'm a supervisor and I know how HIPAA works and I know how lawsuits work and all these types of things, I'm out of here, coach. I'm letting her go. Now, okay, Kim, let's see. Kim, I'm going to send you a link because I want you to come on the show and play devil's advocate with me. I hope your hair is done. And if it's not, then that's fine with me. I don't care nothing about your hair being done. Because I want you to come on and talk with me. Let's play devil's advocate with me on the show if you feel like it. If you don't, I ain't going to be mad at you. But I'm sending Kim a link. And then if anybody else wants to come on, like I said, I'm trying to change the format a little bit more on some of the stuff that I do. And I appreciate everybody, Jarvis and everybody else who helps me. But I'm trying to stop obligating and bothering people and mix it up sometimes. So Kim, I'm sending you this, but I'm gonna read you. I want to read this first before you say that. She said, I'm gonna pinch you. I love you too. I sent it. It's in your inbox. She said, I'm going to play devil's advocate. What if she's left? And that's what I was just getting ready to do, Kim. But I'm gonna let you do the devil's advocate when you come on the show. She said, I'm going to play devil's advocate. What if she's left several times before for false labor pains? I'm just looking on the other side. And sometimes you got to look at it through a supervisor's eye, because you have people who cry wolf. Y'all remember the boy who cried wolf, kept crying wolf all the time, and then nobody. And then all of a sudden, when the wolf did show up and he cried, nobody believed that the wolf was there, because he kept on. That, you know what? When I was a little boy, my daddy said I used to lie a lot when I was a little boy. I ain't gonna lie. I've gotten past that now. But he said I used to lie. And so, but he scared me so bad one day, because he told me that one day I was going to lie and wasn't nobody going to believe me. And that has stuck with me ever since then. So I'm very cautious about that. But that's me. But if someone is 7 months pregnant, then exactly. And that's good. Jacqueline said, I see your point. However, you cannot play with that. Let's bring Kim on, because Kim, you're a supervisor too. So this would be perfect for you. Y'all, everybody say hi to Kim. Ah, there we go. That's my girl. I can do that with Kim, because Kim is my chitlin cooking sister. So we can play like this all the time. CCS. She said next time she see me, it's on site. So what does that mean, y'all, when somebody say this is gonna be on site when they see y'all? What it mean? She gonna beat me up? I'm not afraid. I ain't scared. All right, Kim. So you said, why did you say that? I mean, I read your comment, but let's elaborate on a little bit more.
So I wanted to play devil's advocate, right? Because what if this is just another side that maybe has not been disclosed or explored yet? Mm-hmm. What if this young lady has attendance issues, has called out before for other reasons outside of the pregnancy? Maybe she's on corrective action for attendance that we didn't know about. Mm-hmm. And maybe she's, used her pregnancy before as a means to leave work, not come to work, or maybe false labor pains before in the past. Not saying that any of this is not, I'm going to give you the managerial side in a minute, but I'm just being devil's advocate right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What if she's done this before? And so that shift is left open. It puts more stress on her coworkers, more work on her coworkers, and short staff. So this is just the flip side I want to kind of throw out there.
And I appreciate that. And that's a good point. But you understand the labor laws as well.
Yes.
So let's talk about it from that standpoint, because at the end we can talk about why they didn't let her go. You know what I'm saying? And we all have reasons. You know what I'm saying? Because I would get tired of somebody doing that to me. I get it. But from a labor law standpoint, from the Family and Medical Leave Act, from those that side, how do you view that as a supervisor?
I don't play with HIPAA and FMLA. As long as you get your paperwork in order, um, I'm gonna give y'all a nugget.
Okay.
When you apply for FMLA and you get it approved, you don't have to go into details about what your leave is for with your manager. They really can't even ask you about it.
Mm,
But where we mess up at, we talk too much.
yeah.
We want to share the details. Now, if this young lady was protected under FMLA, all she had to say was, "Hey, I need to leave. I'm going to use FMLA and go." That's it. As long as she had her paperwork in order, leave.
But let me ask you this, and this since you like being devil's advocate and I'm the mind massager, let's massage let's massage minds.
Let's go.
Don't the prison have an infirmary?
They do, but under FMLA, you don't have to use theirs. She can go
No, but
to.
I'm saying is they could have done something if it's an emergency in that moment, is what I'm saying. I don't know how far, most prisons are not near the inner city. Most
True.
prisons are down some dirt
Far out.
roads and around some corners. So
Hmm.
she would have had to drive to a prison anyway, right? So
Yeah.
if it's that much of an emergency, typically there's a doctor on staff at the prison. There's some prison beds at the prison. That's one thing. But that's another. We're doing devil's advocate. We could perhaps it all day long. But at the end of the day, they didn't let her go. I don't know if they offered an alternative. And because of that, a baby that had a chance at life is dead
Yes.
because it was stillborn.
Yes.
And ironically, this is the irony for me, Kim. I'm going to put this over your face for a minute, y'all. But Kim got a beautiful face, so y'all don't think I'm going to do it.
Hey, Jackie.
But talking about things that are ironic, a Republican-led state that has the attorney general and all that governance is under Republican, and all they want to do is fight for the rights of the unborn. And unborn, a baby was not born under their watch, and they're fighting it. That befuddles me. I don't get that one. I don't get that one, and I don't get that one. And I think, like you said in your comment a minute ago, I think Texas really does have some explaining to do.
Mm-hmm. Their slip is showing.
Yeah. Oh, what does that mean? Because you're from Cotton Plant. I know some people I know you from Cotton Plant, Arkansas. Somebody that might be listening in New York or somewhere in Chicago might not understand what it means when you say your slip is showing. Can you explain them in layman's terms what your slip is showing means?
Women, we use our slips to hide stuff up under our clothes. But if that slip is, you're not even supposed to know you have that slip on. But if it's showing, hey, you tell it. You're trying to hide something.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kim, I appreciate you for coming on and giving your perspective. All right.
Anytime. Anytime.
I know you got work to do, so go do your thug thizzle, and I appreciate y'all. Appreciate
All right.
All right. So I put another question out earlier today, and I want y'all's opinion on this question. And this is fun, y'all. I kind of like this. Listen, and I want you to think when I ask you this question. Anthony, you're gonna like this question. In fact, Anthony, I'm about to send you a link too. If you're somewhere where you can talk, then come on. If you can't, I don't care. But if you can, I'm sending it to you because I want to discuss this one with you. I want to talk about this one with you. If you are available. If you're not, that is fine with me. There's no pressure. But I'm just me and Anthony have some good conversations. So I'm gonna try to let him come on if he's available. All right. So I'm about to put this question up. Here it is. Let me put it on. Here it is. Yeah, are y'all liking these topics so far? First of all, we talked about Sha'Carri Richardson. That's a great comeback story because everybody named Mama talked about Sha'Carri Richardson when she got caught smoking marijuana a couple of years ago, and she didn't get it. She missed out on the opportunity to make it to the Olympics when she got beat on the international scene and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's Sha'Carri Richardson. We talked about her first. Secondly, we talked about Miss Kiki Palmer and her boyfriend, and negative narratives that we love to promote, and we got to start reading and all that type of stuff more so than what we've been doing. Got to do better. Got to do better. And then we just talked about the young lady in the Texas state. And if y'all want to rehash any of these stories, feel free to go back in the comments. I'll read them and I'll go back and we'll talk about them a little bit more. Or if you want to come on the show, like I said, feel free to send me an inbox and I will go and I'll send you the link and you can jump on. And like I said, when we finish these last topics, then we will move on. We'll move on. We'll move on. So this is the question I want to ask. And this is probably a little bit more of a social justice question. I'll jump into my last topic in just a moment. But I want to ask this question. Here it is. Do you think that Black complacency is the key to white supremacy? Anthony McCreary, Mr. Anthony McCreary, if you're still there, I'm sending you the link. Jarvis, I know you're going to think something totally different than me, and that's okay with me. So if you're still there, I'm going to just send you the link anyway, and you can pop on for a minute if you're there. If you're not, that's fine as well. But anybody, like I said, that wants to come on and answer that question for me, I want you to come on and talk about that. And I want you to put on your critical thinking hat. I want you to put on your critical thinking hat. I want you to think about that question, because I always hear people talk about, Black on Black crime. And we always use the saying that we need to, before somebody else going to care about us, we got to start caring about ourselves. And we make all of these reverse racism jokes. A gentleman today made a comment, something to that effect, about how we got to stop turning on one another. And turning on one another has several different faces. It doesn't. It's not the only face is not when we die at the hands of Black on Black crime. That's not the only face of when we talk about turning on each other. Sometimes it's the way we talk about each other. Sometimes it comes in the face of how divided we are. Sometimes it comes in the face of being Black buppies, as we like the uppity people, because we think that we've arrived. And because we've arrived, then we think we're better than some people that have maybe not been exposed to as much as you are. The difference is between most of us is that some of us have received opportunities that others of us have not yet received. And if we had received the same opportunities, then you just never know how somebody's situation could have turned out. I never will forget when they talk about the Emancipation Proclamation, when they talk about how when the slaves were released, when they went back to their homes, most of them went back to homes that didn't even have flooring. Their floors were mud, right? And mud is not a very good foundation to start with. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just stating facts in that. So that is, some of us have been given good opportunities in life, and we've made the most of those opportunities. Whereas a lot of us have not been given thus. Most of us have not been given us the same opportunity. So this is my contention. I believe that we are the effects of what we've been exposed to and what we've embraced. Does that make sense? I believe that we are the effects of what we have been exposed to and what we have embraced. I'm gonna bring my boy Anthony on for a minute. Come on here, Anthony. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm making it on broken pieces, but I'm gonna hold on to the ship. Man, what's going on? Hey, I know y'all got a special kind of heat down there in Valdosta.
Ooh, you have no idea, man. Heat index was at 102 today.
102. Did you sell a car?
Come on, bro. You know me.
Man, when I first asked him something, I asked Anthony, I said, "What's up, man? What's up with you?" He didn't tell me his name. First thing he did was he said, "I'm a bad mother." Shut your mouth. That's exactly what he told me, and I'll never forget that. He said, "I'm a bad mother." Had the Burberry shoes on, wrote that, but that's my boy from down in Valdosta. I've met a lot of good people over the years, working at different car dealerships in different cities and all that. And Anthony has been following me since then, and we've maintained a connection. And I've always appreciated whenever he comes on the show. I mean, what he does in the comments. So I wanted him to pop in for a minute and talk with me. So listen, I put this question up today, and a lot of people don't think you're a critical thinker. So that's why I put you on the spot real fast. So here's the question. Do you think that black complacency is the key to white supremacy? Do I need to break that down, or you got it?
I think I got it. I think
Okay.
I got it.
Okay. And y'all help him out in the y'all help him out in the comments. Y'all help him out. I gave you a narrative of what it meant. Help him out. Go ahead, Anthony.
So I'm gonna say yes and no. I'm gonna say part of the reason why we are in the predicament that we are in as a whole, as a people, as a group, is because of our complacency, because we are still waiting for massa to give us something. We are still waiting for the white elite to finally relinquish control. We're still waiting for our talented 10 to give us permission. We're still waiting on the Democrat Party to get their messaging together so we know what to do, when we don't need any of that. You know, I mean, we were freed. So the only thing stopping us for the most part is us. Now, that's not to say that racism doesn't exist in all these other places and things like that, because at the end of the day, we all know, you know, I mean, goodness, I wish that we were more like, in many ways, white people. And what I mean by that is, for them,
you better quantify that statement, Negro, because I will take you off the show fast.
Hold on. And I got you, bro. And this is what I mean by that.
Okay.
They put race above everything.
They do. I get what you're saying.
Above everything, no matter what it is, you know, they will put their people above everything. And for us, we won't. We will be crabs in a bucket all day long. Oh, James got it. So no. So let's find a way to get rid of James real quick. Let's get together, like you say, and make up some negative narratives to get rid of James. That's what we'll do. We'll come together for BS, but we can't come together as a whole to put us in proper places, because we always complaining about we're not in the room. But then when we finally get somebody in the room, we find a way to get them out the room.
Absolutely.
So,
and you know what? I'm gonna cut you off right quick, and then I'm gonna bring you right back. It's funny that you say that, because I told this story, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I'm gonna tell it again. When my son went to elementary school, Flat Shoals Elementary, Conyers, Georgia, he had a black teacher. It was a man. It was probably 90% black. And he was a part of FBLA, I think it was, one of those clubs, you know, Future Business, and one of those beta clubs, I don't know, whatever it was. But there were 30 people in the group, okay? 30 people, 29 black and 1 white. When I came to the meeting, guess who the president was?
Ooh.
The little white boy.
Of course, right?
I was hot, and I started being vocal. You know, I'm like, man, how this happen? I'm like, the odds were finally stacked in our favor, man, and we still lost the election. And how that happened, you know? And so I just had to go ask the teacher. I said, let me ask you a question. How this happen? She said, what? Right. How did a little white dude get to be? I said, I ain't got no problem with white folk, black folk, but if the majority rules, how does he get to be president? She said, well, since he was the only white guy, we just thought it'd be a good idea to let him be president. I said, oh, so you thought it was a good idea to let that one little white boy lead all them black kids? She said, I said, I said, the one chance we could have won, and you messed it up. Yep, and you understand my point? But it's a mentality sometimes where we start to see them ahead of us. You know what I'm saying? It's like the black and white crayon experiment, right? You know, the black and white doll experiment, with the little black girl would choose the white doll over the black doll, you know, or growing up, Lone Ranger had on a white hat, but every villain had on a black hat. You know what I'm saying? Right. In the late 80s, mid 80s, when they started talking about a super predator, the first thing they did, they put a picture of a black man out with a wide nose, you know, and big lips and all these types. When they started talking about a welfare queen, they start putting images of black women out there, right? Because that's how they do it. And then when the thing is that when they put those subliminal messages out, not only do they believe it, the sad part is, guess what?
We do too. We believe it. And that's our problem as a whole, is that we are okay with fitting those stereotypes, you know, especially when it comes to, and don't get me wrong, I like to, as the older folks say, I like to joke just as much as anybody. Yeah, I listen to Cardi B and all that stuff there, but at the same time, cool, and you can say, okay, that's no different than what Uncle Luke then was doing. Yeah, you're right to a certain extent, but at some point, even Uncle Luke realized, no, I done got too old for this.
Yes.
Even when Rick Ross first came out, he was thug. Rick Ross has probably got more property than any rapper I know.
And writing books. I
and
mean,
everything.
owning
Completely
businesses.
changed the narrative. Now he used what they were trying to market to for his financial gain, and that's fine. I'm all for that. Fine.
Yeah.
If you're gonna push me into this box and say that I'm a thug and I'm this, and you're gonna use this for your gains, I'm gonna use it for my gain too. But at some point, I've got to switch the narrative to my own and create my own lane out of it. And that's where I think, for the most part, we missed the boat. So fine. So what? That you not in the position that you're supposed to be in. It's okay, boo boo. You keep fitting on in that narrative. You keep learning these skills and everything else. And guess what? At some point, you're gonna get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you either gonna do something to boot one of them out the way, or you got enough now knowledge to go start your own.
Boy, I'm gonna tell you something. You talking real good. You talking real good. Hold on. I gotta give you something right there. Hold on. I got on that note right there. Hold on. I gotta give you something. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. There it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got to give it to him. That's good stuff. Because and to your point, we are the effects of what we have been exposed to. And believe me, Jacqueline Poindexter, we know that. Yeah, numerically they are. You're right. But in proportion to statistics, it's a little bit different. You're right. More of them. Like, for instance, if you say 10% of 300 million versus 6% of a million, it's still going to be more of them, but the percentages look different. It's a proportion rate. Now, you're 100% right. More of them, they get way more than we do. But that's the narrative that they put out there, and we believe those narratives. This, Anthony, man, I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you, bro. But because you brought up Rick Ross. Rick Ross is the perfect example of we are the effects of what we've been exposed to. Think about T.I. He's the perfect example of what we've been exposed to. You look down on Hollywood Avenue and all these different areas. I mean, T.I. owns properties now. Young Jeezy owns properties. They parlayed that into businesses and to Airbnbs. And these young people, man, a lot of them are getting money, man. They doing the Airbnbs. They doing the Turos. I mean, they're doing the credit repair. You know why? Because they are the effects of what they have been exposed to and what they embrace. But the problem is that sometimes we get exposed to the wrong things, right? If you've not been inoculated. Now, I took the flu shot one time and I got the flu. But I have a strong immune system, so I never got the flu beyond that, right? So because I have a strong immune system, I can get exposed to certain things and not be as affected. Some people are weaker than I am. Yeah, that's good right there. And because they're weaker than I am, that's why when we put that video up the other day, I don't know if you saw the video in the group the other day about how people go to the club and listen to serial killer music for 2.5 hours, and then people wonder why they want to fight. It's because they've been listening, knock your head off, beat him in the ground, put him in the dirt. I've been, shoot him. We killed 1,800 folk last night. All this, and I'm drinking. And I've been smoking, and I might have been doing Molly and everything else. And my mind is already confused, and I hear these negative signals coming to me. And because I'm not insulated. So, I mean, I got some word inside of me. I got my daddy's voice in the back of my mind telling me, James, you better be careful of the choices you make. I got grandma, I got some history inside of me that, as grandma used to call it, that brown bean theology. When they give you them brown beans and cornbread, you might not even need to have any meat, but they gave you something that stuck to your bones. Right. So when you got ready to do something that might not be right, you'll think twice about it, right? But some people just don't know consequences. So you mix that with alcohol, you mix that with drugs, you mix that with negative messages in music, you mix all of those things together, and then you have, now I want to kill everybody. Listen, I'm not saying that Facebook. That's what the group's saying. I'm just saying, don't think that.
Right? We're not trying to get shut down.
I don't want to get shut down, but they wanted to kill everybody. I got to make sure I say that. So that's what we're up against. That's why I don't want to go out.
I'm with you.
And listen, I saw you and your beautiful woman. Hey, and y'all got kids. I'm sure you cool at home. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to make home as comfortable as I possibly can, bro. Because I don't ever want to leave. Because it's just so, that. But that's where we are. because we are the effects of what we've been exposed to and what we. So when we put this question out there and we ask, do we think? Hold on, I'm trying to get back to the question. Do we think that black complacency? What do we think black complacency is the key to white supremacy? It might not be the key, but it's certainly a key. Because we've been to complacency.
Definitely a key. And I'll even add this to it, going back to kind of her comment of, there's more of them in the room. So what? There's always been more of them in the room. That's never been a thing where, yes, globally we are the majority. Fine. I hear that. But we have always done more with less than any group of people on planet Earth. So what difference does that make? So we're at a disadvantage. The minute we come out the womb, but we're more empowered than any other group.
Bro. And man, that's don't forget that they want to show out and prove. Kim said we aren't supposed to speak up or challenge other races. When we do speak up, we're angry. Oh, good. She said when we do speak up, we are angry. We're considered to be angry and aggressive. And you're 100% right with that, Kim. You're 100% right. And I've always been one that's been very boisterous. You saw how I handle people when I come to Valdosta. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
right there in A-Town.
It's totally different in East Texas. Trust me. I thought I was going. They're going to send me back home, bro. But
right.
Because when you can articulate,
right, and
when you can communicate effectively, when you have the power to organize. You better come back here, Anthony. When you have the power to organize, when you have all of those things, you're a threat. Malcolm X was a threat because he could communicate. He could organize. Martin Luther King was a threat. He could communicate. He could organize. Marcus Garvey could. All those people, were threats because they could communicate and they could organize. And what people have always this has always been their contention. What we don't understand, we are afraid of. And because we're afraid of it, we try to kick it, kill it, or cage it because we don't think we can contain it.
Correct.
I need to say that. Do I need to say that again? We got it. We need to kick it. What we don't understand, we are afraid of. So we try to kick it, kill it, or cage it because we can't contain it. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And I think that's kind of where we are right now with practically everything in society is saying that that's exactly what they're doing to us. They're keeping us in a place of complacency with us being entertained. That's all entertainment is keeping us complacent, because as long as we're not moving, we're stagnant. One of my favorite stories from the Bible is, the children of Israel, when they got set free, it took them 40 years to reach the promised land. And everybody that started didn't even see it. You want to know why it took them 40 years? Because the trip only should have took them anywhere between 10 to 14 days. Yep. Right? Mm-hmm. But because they were so stuck on complaining and complacent in why we out here in the middle of the wilderness, you know what you're doing, and blah, 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 all this other junk, they got stuck 40 years wandering. Yeah. On a track that should have taken them a short period of time. Yeah. And that's where we are as a people. We are stuck wandering about why Keke Palmer's baby daddy, wondering why Usher dancing on this girl, wondering why they put
who gives a flip?
Right. Who cares? Who cares? What are you doing about your situation right now in your current city? What are you doing about the problems that is facing you and your personal life right now?
Good, that's good.
You ain't doing nothing about it, but I promise you, the intelligence that you have is going to your Twitter fingers right now, because you worry about what your cousin's baby daddy is doing as opposed to what's going on in your own house.
Boy, you about to make tears come to my eyes, because you're so right. And I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, right? And it's really simple. If we read Matthew 5 and look at 14 verses 16, man, all this is just really, it says, let your light so shine. That's all it says. and if we would just be light, that's it. Now, let's look at that exegetically now, because, I like to exegete text. The text didn't say make your light shine. It says let your light shine, because light does what light does. If it's light and you just let light be light, then light's gonna shine. And when light shines, it exposes everything in darkness. But what happens is, because some of us got a few more pennies, we can afford to pay the power bill. And so we end up manufacturing a light. And when we manufacture that light, so many people run after this brilliant manufactured light. But the problem is that manufactured light really doesn't have any power
at all.
No
Because
power.
just like you said, it says let your light. So that means you already got it in you.
It's
And
already
that's
there.
something that I tell people all the time. Everything that you need to be successful, everything that you need
Already
in this world to operate, you already got
Already
from Jump Street. From Jump Street, the minute you come into this world, you got everything you need. I promise you that. Now,
And
the rest of it, as far as the family, as far as income and all that stuff, that's all semantics. That's the hand you
Come
dealt.
on, man.
But everything that you personally need to make it, you already got it.
in you. And bro, and what you don't have, guess what? Life is lending you lessons. But we don't take the time to consider the clues. I mean, like I'm gonna tell you, you met me 2-3 years ago, and I was in my wilderness. You wouldn't have known it when you met me, though, would you? Because I didn't nobody knew it. But when I was going through my wilderness after my divorce, and it was a wilderness, bro, I was messed up, man. But I'm gonna tell you something. While I was in the wilderness, I bet you one dang thing, I picked up wilderness tactics. I picked up some more education. I picked up some more skills. My podcast look a lot better now than it did 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Because although I was in the wilderness, I wasn't just going to marinate in my misery and stay saturated in my sorrow. I was going to pick something up. So give me a few minutes now. I might not want to go outside and play. I might not want to go to dinner tonight. I might not want to hang out, but I'm going to stay in here and I'm going to read this book. And guess what, Anthony? I wrote the last few pages on my book today. So now all I gotta do is do a full rewrite, and then it's going to printer. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
sir.
when you're in the wilderness of life, the thing you should do is pick up wilderness tactics. Watch this, children of Israel going through the wilderness. We hungry? Can we get bread? God said, "Yeah, I got you. Let me give you some manna." Well, hold on. We need something to drink too. Hold on. Let me go ahead and speak to that rock. Watch the water come out. You feel what I'm saying? So when you go through the wilderness, you start to pick up wilderness tactics. And when we go and everything that we needed, even in slavery for those 400 years, we could do stuff with our hands they just couldn't do. That's why they say that the White House was built off of black men's blueprints. Most of the South was. Common sense. During Reformation, who were the skilled laborers? We were. But the problem is we only get to hear his story. They have whitewashed history so much that we only hear his story, and you're never gonna get the truth when you hear when they say that most of history was written by the loser. Most of history was written by the Confederacy. So if they wrote most of the history, then it's probably not going to be true. There's going to be some holes in it somewhere.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, you can look at history as a whole. Well, especially looking back from slavery. If you look at what wealth was considered to be for a lot of these plantation owners, it didn't have nothing really to do with the crop. Cotton was a part of it. It was a piece of it. What gave all of these plantation owners wealth was how many slaves did you have? The black bodies. That's what was considered wealth to them. That's why the trading block was such a big deal to them. They weren't trading cotton up there because everybody was growing cotton.
Wow.
You know what they were trading? They were trading us.
Chattel slavery. Chattel slavery. Man, it's deep, bro. It's real deep. It's real deep. And some of us, like I said, I'm just not at a place where I can just sweep certain things under the rug, because I know there's no way you can get a tree without. Every tree started as a seed.
It did.
Every tree started as the seed. I don't know what will history say about us from this part in history. What part in history? I don't understand your question. Hold on. You know how we can fix this. Hold on. Let me send Anthony. Because Mark, we got about 5 or 10 more minutes, so we're gonna do it like this. If you're available, come on, because you like to give he likes to ask setup questions.
and to me, while you're doing that, to me, this is what making what's happening in Florida as far as the education system down there, as far as them teaching Black history and what that actually is to them, so disgusting to me. You know, where Black people could have benefited.
Mark, I sent you the link. Go ahead, keep talking.
could have benefited from slavery, you know, where they gained skills during this time. Okay, I hear that. The problem with that is you put us in a situation where we didn't have no choice. It wasn't my choice to learn how to pick cotton. It wasn't my choice to learn how to work a tractor. It wasn't my choice to learn how to be a brick mason. That wasn't my choice. You forced me into all this. So yes, I may have gained skills that eventually taught me how to build my own house when I became a free man. But at the end of the day, that didn't turn into an economic foundation for me either.
You know, bro, I'm gonna tell you something. You just said something right there that I wish women would understand. That's why a lot of black men, that's why we sell cars. That's why we do
Facts.
that are entrepreneurial. That's why it's more women that work in corporate America, because we got, well, I know women were in slavery. No, I don't want to go down that road. But because we don't like being told what to do. If you read what's the name of her book by Michelle Alexander? What is the name of that book? What's the name? Michelle Alexander's book. Michelle Alexander's book. I got it right over there. Shoot, Jim Crow. About the Jim Crow. I'll have to get it, but I know how to find out. But she talks about how many more women are in corporate America because they can listen to Mr. Charlie a little bit quicker than we can. Because I ain't gonna lie, you say the wrong thing to me at work, I'm quitting and I'm going home. I'm walking out. The name of the book is called The New Jim Crow. Yeah,
Oh,
but
man.
a sister sit on a job for 20, 30 years and be as loyal and get her 25-year pin and get all that kind of stuff, But I ain't gonna lie, if I'm at work and y'all done made me mad, I'll be like, I quit. I'm going home. I got to look. Hey, and back in the early 2000s, we always kept an escape car. Always kept it at the dealership. In case y'all made us mad, we know if we had a demo, that was fine. We'll ride our demo, but we had an escape car in the back. Go ahead, Mark. Make your point.
No, I was just Anthony. You hit a lot of great points earlier. Even talking about rap and Rick Ross and the entrepreneur in him, the investor. I feel like the miss with that is that a lot of things they're doing are not captured in social media. You remember in BET when they used to have Uncle Jeff and they had Teen Summit and stuff, where they used to separate the entertainers. You started knowing more about them as a person. And then people had gained more insight, understand, hey, man, this dude has a degree. Hey, man, this dude have all other stuff. Okay, the rapping part is really entertainment because he has so many other, nuances that he's involved in and different things like that, different ventures. You learned a lot about him. I think they're missing that point and missing that part of it. And that information, I feel like is a pivotal point in our culture right now that we're missing. Everybody's seeing the end result, but they don't like people. What they say, people want to have people's success, but they don't want their journey, right? They don't want the journey at all to the success. I heard y'all speak a little bit about history and what way the narrative, but now we're educated, right? We're educated. We have access to all kind of books. We know the outcomes of our decisions. Nothing's hidden anymore. My question was, what's history going to say about us right now? Now that we know all this, we given a playbook. What are we going to do about, what is history going to say about us right now? Because the thing is, I feel like because even though they put all the information in front of us, we are so drugged. Whether it's the liquor, whether it's the alcohol, the liquor, the weed, whatever like this, I think we're in a trance right now because the thing is, a lot of other cultures see it as stuff as action based. I think we in a frame of mind, Anthony, right? The way I see it is, yeah, we know it, but we're still complaining about things. We're looking for a savior type of thing, still taking ownership. And we're not community based as we used to be. See, the information is not there, it's not getting passed. How old are you, James?
51.
51. I'm 43. How many of us now are pillars in our communities and going out and making sure that information is shared amongst the youth? Now, most of us standing in our houses and saying, as long as my family good, I'm good. How many of us?
Let me ask, I'm going to cut you half right there. Hold on. Because you're making a great point. And I love, Mark, you always challenge us. I love that. But can I ask you a question? Do you think there's a collective us? Because it's that's the
No,
issue.
I think there's an I. I think
It's,
right now we're looking for so much affirmation
mhm.
off our personal accomplishments. It's an I mentality.
That's
It's
good.
we posting our cars, we posting our houses, but we're not posting the community that we impacted.
And I think, Anthony, you can jump in on this too, Mark. And that's some great points. Thank you for, first of all, thank you for listening in the comments. And you're not on the
Yeah,
show. I appreciate that about you. Be honest with
yeah.
you. But let me say this, because I asked that question for a reason. And audience, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. The reason I asked, is there a collective us, is because you said we're educated, we're this, and I don't. But the majority of us aren't educated.
Okay,
Hold on.
so I challenge that. I challenge that. Now you talking about scholastically or educated in life? Because even your
Scholastically, because that's the one that people measure us by, unfortunately. That's the one they put on paper that speaks before us, before we get a chance to speak. You understand? So that's the point. Now, you got a whole lot of folk. I mean, I got homeboys that grew up that never went to anybody's college, that own dump trucks. Who is that? Somebody said, let me hop on. I'm trying to figure out who is Subwoofer King. I would love to let you hop on, but I don't know how to send you a link. Can you get on Facebook? Can you send me a request through Facebook? And I don't know how to send a link. I put it in here, but y'all don't be getting it for some reason. But no, that's my thing, Mark, is and because I don't think we have a collective us. I think we're so divided. You just made a statement about about the I mentality, right? And most of that comes from equality, from being exposed, because I just said earlier, we're the effects of what we've been exposed to and what we've been embraced. I got a dog now. She's being around in more communal areas now. So now that she's in more communal areas, she is more susceptible to catching fleas. So my point is, when we start to overexpose ourselves, especially with the Fair Housing Act of 1967, when we left our own communities and started being a part of their communities because we wanted bigger houses and all those things. We wanted to be like the Joneses. And what ended up happening was it weakened our substructure, right? Because now all the leaders, all the men that boys had got a chance to look at, they were no longer in the community, right? And we become weaker because we want to be like them, because we, coming from Eastern culture, from Africa and Jamaica and places east, we were a communal culture. We didn't get married unless Big Mama and them said we could. We didn't get married until the elders said we could. We didn't get married, but we got married because of people said, okay, they need to be together, this need to be together. We were groomed for these things. But then we started wanting to be more and more egalitarian, trying to be like our Caucasian cousins, because they don't have family reunions. We do. I ain't trying. I'm joking with that when I say it. But we started being more egalitarian, and when we became more egalitarian, then we lost our connection. I'm ashamed. I hadn't been to my family reunion probably in 10 or 15 years. But when my grandmama was alive, she made sure we did that every year. She made sure I knew who my cousins were, who my uncles were, who did this, who did that. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew who we were. We've lost our identities because we no longer know who we are. We're whitewashed. We're programmed.
Well,
we get messages all day. Now, Mark, you don't respond to them like a lot of people do because you're more insulated. You got some education to offset some of those things. But like you said, if somebody's on Molly every day, smoking weed all day long every day, drinking alcohol long every day, their validation comes because of their sexual organs. If that's all they're doing, then they have a weakened mind, and they'll fall for anything. Tell me I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please tell me.
No, you're
not
wrong at all. I look
want
at
Subwoofer to come on. Subwoofer, tell me how to get you this link, because I appreciate you for wanting to get on, bro.
I would say a lot of it is just like you're saying. We have been culturally conditioned to think that we need to be part of said, white community, when that's not it. I mean, my thing was, especially when it comes to the education system, is Brown versus the Board of Education, to me, was a great idea. It was wonderful. The problem was it was implemented incorrectly. And what I mean by that is the goal was not for me to go to school with white Johnny. I didn't necessarily care for that. What I wanted was white Johnny's resources. I wanted a better building. I wanted the same books. I wanted the same quality education.
That's good.
I didn't necessarily need Miss White Sally teaching me because I knew Miss Johnny May know how to handle me.
Boy, you done had another one. Hold on. Let me get you this right quick. Keep talking.
So
Go ahead.
So this is where all this a lot of this culture conditioning over these generations and this time has now come for us to be conditioned to be where we are. Okay, cool. You know, now we glorify. Yeah, let's smoke weed all day. We glorify that. Let's
my thing, and I'm not to cut you off, Anthony. So I'm one of those guys is like, okay, all right. So growing up, you got two twin brothers, right?
Yes.
One goes to Harvard, one's the leader of a gang. Grew up in the same environment, same mom and dad, but one of them made a choice, right? Now one chose the streets because that's what they grew up in. That was an environment. They mastered it. You know what I'm saying? And they worked their way up. But another one said, you know what? I know what the end state of this is. I don't want that. I know people die young. You know, it's a fast life. You get locked up and stuff like this. But I'm smart. Like I'm just as smart as my brother, but I'm gonna take this route because I know the trajectory is higher. You know, when are we going to start making the right choices? Right now, like Anthony, take the white man out. We are glorifying. We are, as a community, we are glorifying the wrong choices.
I agree.
James, you're a God-fearing man. We in them days where evil seems good and good seems evil. Well, no, and one thing I backtrack all this is the problem I see. That black men, we have not taken the burden off the black woman as being the backbone of our community. As when black men start stepping up and start taking our roles and what they were back in the day, on the forefront of our community, we'll start to see change. Men like yourself, Anthony, when you start sitting down with the youth and actually recondition their minds, I feel like that's when we'll see change.
I agree. And
hey, hold on. Let me get this other. Are you Subwoofer King?
Yeah, I'm Subwoofer King.
How did you get? Did you get on through the link?
Yeah, I got on through the link.
Okay, cool. That's great. I've been trying to get people. I've been trying to get people to click on it, and it finally worked. All right, good. So talk to me. What you got? Let's see what you're talking about.
Look, man, I agree with everything y'all saying, man. Like the culture. Like I don't want to bring up music stuff like that. It's like the culture is so like embedded in like these young black men heads. They're influenced by people they really shouldn't be influenced by. You know, they're big homies on the blog, whatever. And it shouldn't be that way. But you know, when I was, little, whatever, I was influenced by the guy, with the big car, with the rims of that, and I was impressionable. Because when you're young, you're impressionable. And like you really don't get life. You look, hindsight's 20/20, right? Males don't really mature till 25. Their brains really don't mature till 25. So when you're a young little teenager or little boy growing up, you're gonna be influenced by that stuff.
Absolutely.
And so I think we kind of trapped in that cycle. We gotta kind of break the cycle. By the time they realize what they're doing, they already got a record. So,
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Jonathan. Growing up how old are you, first of all?
I'm 31 now.
Okay, good. That's a good age. So what do you think needs to happen to start to correct some of the ills in our community? Because Mark is right. We always talk about the problem. Mark wants no solutions, and I get it. And he has a heart for that. But as a 31-year-old young man that was influenced by some of those things, and we got about 10 more minutes on this show, and I'm gonna let it go. What do you think? Where do you think the process starts?
It starts with a stable household, first of all, because a lot of African American families don't have stable, grounded households, and it starts from the base first, because young minds are very moldable and impressionable, so it's such a widespread, yes, it's the family, I don't know how to explain it, but it starts from the family, the mom and the dad, they gotta teach their child to stay away from or not be influenced on that kind of stuff. When they go to school away from their mom and dad, they're influenced by the popular kids at school, whatever, and then they go back home and try to imitate that. But it just starts from the household, the parenting.
Gotcha. All right, so we gave you that answer. I appreciate you. Now, Jonathan, we appreciate you. Keep listening to us, man. We do this. We do this every Monday night. Thank you for popping in. Mark is with me a lot of the times. Anthony's usually in the comments, but I had to bring him on stage tonight. But we do this every Monday night on Facebook, bro.
Nice to get Anthony, man.
You know Anthony already?
Yeah, I'm still mad about. Never mind, but he cool, man.
Don't bring that on my show.
Hold up, bro. Yeah, man. What's up, bro?
Not much, man. How y'all been over there, man? I miss y'all dealership, man. I ain't gonna lie. I miss y'all.
Man, y'all talk about that later. Bye. Get off my show. Bye. Let me get you off my show. No. So, Mark, what do you? No, I'm gonna ask Anthony first. Anthony, what do you think is going to start the process to fixing some of the ills in our community? Kanika, what's up, girl? You should have been on the show tonight. But go ahead.
So I agree with Mark. A lot of this, believe it or not, has nothing to do. If I can just focus on us as a Black people, a lot of this has nothing to do with the woman. This has everything to do with the man. Because what was the first thing taken away when we became slaves? What was the first thing taken away? It was us. It wasn't the child. It wasn't the mother. It was us. Let's separate the men. Because they knew if we can get rid of the men, the rest is going to be easy for the taking. So what we have to do is we have to become better men and back into our own little ecosystem. Meaning that, just like what Mark said, we've got to go back to, because something I like to ask a lot of my friends is, just like you said, there's a problem. Well, my question is, what are you going to do about it? So I can tell you what I've done about it. I've been mentoring 3rd and 4th grade boys.
Okay, now you talk. That's what I like to hear right there. Okay, good stuff.
James, you see me, how I dress. I dress like that every single day. Why? To give them a different image of what they may not be seeing at home.
Absolutely.
See, when we were growing up, it didn't matter if your dad was in the house or wasn't in the house. If your dad worked overnight or didn't work overnight, there was a male figure around you, a positive male figure around you at all times, whether it was your uncle, whether it was your neighbor. There was somebody that was going to stop you from doing something real stupid. The problem is we don't have that anymore. We don't have that community of men to stop some of this foolishness from going on. And the problem is we don't have these men in these young boys' age early enough to catch it before it becomes a problem. Exactly. And that's what that's why I completely agree with you, Mark. That's where it starts. It starts with us. We have to take the full-on responsibility of being men.
Yeah.
We are the protectors. We are the leaders. I mean, in the divine order, it's God, us, women, children. Period.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Anthony, we're gonna tell you good night too, because we're about to close it down. Good stuff. Mark, you still here. You got to say your part. I'm just letting them out.
No, mine's very simple. Mine's very simple. Ownership. Okay. We gotta take ownership of what happened to us, accept that, but ownership of where we are now, and laying the foundation of where we're gonna go in the future. Be honest, I talk a little raw, but there's going to be a day and time, James, when Black men are going to have to overcome and fight the real nigga movement.
Oh, no doubt about it. And
that's just where we at.
No doubt. No doubt. Mark, I'm sorry, and we can banter this. Because we do banter about this. Mark and I, we have these conversations. That's my boy. He bigger than me. He pushes me around. No, he don't. But, he kind of treat me like I'm the big brother for some reason because I'm older. But anyway, but the only thing is, Mark, I just want to know where we're gonna find these men as examples.
Well, my thing is, I think they are here. They just need to give them a bigger platform and get the recognition for what they're doing, and more men to follow suit.
I would like to believe that, and I also believe that I wholeheartedly believe that people don't care how much you have or how much you know until they know how much you care. And when these same people that we talk about with the bonnets and the same people we talk about that smoke weed and do this, when we show them that we care about them and that we really love them genuinely anyway, despite all the things that you do, that's when positive change can start to happen. Because people don't care. I mean, I can walk up to a stranger on the street and tell them I love them. I can give you countless stories of walking through high schools telling kids to stop cursing, that will cuss everybody out, but I'm able to get through to them. You know why? Because they could feel the love that I had for them. I'm not just going to talk down to you. I'm going to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And Anthony can tell you. Oh, let me bring him back right. He's still there. Anthony can tell you. Anthony, I can cuss people out and they'll start laughing, won't they?
Right.
Because they know I genuinely care about people. And so that's what happens. It's hard to talk down to people and then say that you're trying to help the same people. Because it's hard. I mean, all of us have had children, right? But none of us could feed that baby.
Some people shouldn't have children, James.
Yeah, but I got a point. But my point is that baby didn't drink the bottle while it was crying, did it? It had to calm down and take what you were trying to give it. And that's the same thing with society. If we're gonna ever give them what they need, we got to make sure that they can calm down and understand why we're giving it to them. I love that my daughter is here with me now because I'm a little more logical with certain things. So I break things down to her a different way. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm loving the growth that I see in her. And that's the same thing we got to do. Listen, y'all know, Anthony, what you doing tomorrow night?
I got nothing to do, man.
We might come back tomorrow night because I ain't even get through all my points tonight. Okay. We might come back tomorrow night. All right. So y'all, we probably gonna have a show again tomorrow night if I don't go to the game tomorrow night. If I don't go to the game. But it's been real. Listen, showtime every Monday night, 9:00. I hope y'all like my new format. I'll have panels sometimes. Sometimes I won't have panels. Sometimes I have topics. I like doing it this way, and we're gonna continue to do it. Everybody that rocked with me tonight, keep rocking with me. If you all have not joined Stu Nation on Facebook, join Stu Nation. We have the greatest conversations in there, man. We have the greatest conversations, and we're going to continue to do so. And I appreciate everybody that supports me. Mark, you're my dude, man. And I really do appreciate you for listening in tonight. Mark could be doing so many other things. Y'all just don't even understand some of the people that support me. Mark's sitting, I ain't gonna tell his business, but Mark doing very well in life. And he gives me a little time. You know what I'm saying? And when he can't come, when he can't do it, he calls me ahead of time and says, James, I can't make it. And I appreciate you. So I appreciate you, Mark. And I wanted to publicly affirm you. So as I always say, hey, y'all get ready because I'm about to release my latest t-shirt. Hey, Anthony, you're going to like this one. I'm going to do a real good launch soon. I did a photo shoot last week, new website coming soon, all these things. But the t-shirt's coming. Y'all, I got it on now. Actually, I don't know if y'all can see it or not. I don't know if you can see it or not. But it says the world is changing. My question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night. And if the Lord says the same, I might be back tomorrow night for real because I got a couple more topics I want to talk about. All right. Y'all have a good night. Peace.